Hello, Mantova owners. Gordon Wangers, your HOA president here with a quick update. I hope this format works for you, maybe hopefully better than reading a memo or a newsletter. I am back in action. To be honest, I'm not at 100% because I had prostate cancer surgery 2 weeks ago, and thus my to-do list for Mantova is kind of long right now. I'm trying to catch up, a little bit scrambling, but I am ably assisted by our steady board of directors, which is Colin Goldstein and Kevin Scanlon from Building 20 and Building 15, respectively. Also, our finance committee has been very helpful, which is Jim Quinn from Building 30 and also Richard Geiger from Building 20 and Shlomo Strakowski from Building 20. So your leadership team is in place and functional. That's one accomplishment, if you will. One thing you may have noticed is that it's taking longer than it should to get repairs done. There's a reason for that, which is our vendors that have been in place for years have not been bid out even in many cases. And they've kind of gotten what I would call too comfortable, maybe lazy even. And when they submit bids, especially if they're more expensive bids, my board, we often say, hey, wait a minute, you're not explaining what's the time, what's the materials, how many hours, how much per hour, they're not really forthcoming with all that. So we're having to kick back a lot of the bids, and that is slowing the process. But we are going to retrain these people that we're not going to just blindly sign off on thousands and thousands of dollars of work that has huge profit margins. So that is kind of why it's taking longer, and it's going to take a bit of time to retrain these vendors. We're also going to bid out some contracts. There'll probably be some new vendors introduced. One other thing that we have talked about before and we need to talk about again is the plumbing. One thing we're looking into, which could be really helpful, is there's a technology where instead of replacing the infrastructure of the cast iron pipes, they inject a composite plastic type material into those pipes, which then hardens and seals, and thus you have essentially a liner that is permanent. And we're looking into that. That may be able to save us quite a bit on redoing the plumbing, but that's something that, again, is not sexy, not going to improve the looks, probably not going to improve our property values all that much, a little bit, but is necessary. We cannot keep fixing these plumbing problems. Also, our insurance just got renewed, which is good, but it's expensive, and we are somewhat in danger because of our shaky loss history of losing insurance coverage. We have a lot of water claims, and we really do need to stop that. In terms of aesthetics, I really wish we could show you more. I think the first thing we're going to attack on that, in addition to taking a look at the landscaping situation, is the fountain. It is my personal opinion that we've got to completely redo that thing and make it look impressive and attractive so that when people are shown properties in Mantova, at least they get a favorable first impression instead of looking at rocks. Also, the front facades need to be redone. Too many rocks, and it's just not acceptable, really, in terms of the upscale community that is South Shore and Mantova is supposed to be. I don't know if any of you have had homes with pools. I'm sure a number of you have, but in my personal life, I have some, and they never stop breaking. It's almost like a motorhome or a yacht that the day you get it, you start fixing it, and the day you sell it is when you stop fixing it. Apologies for the pool being closed on and off, but it's like every other day there is something fairly major wrong with the pool or the hot tub or the umbrellas. Sorry, but it just never ends, and I don't know how we're going to stabilize that because it never ends. But at any rate, we are conscious of the fact that the pool's been closed more than it should, and we apologize for that. But again, we're not signing off blindly on these expensive bids, so that's slowed us down. Not making excuses, but we're trying to apply a discipline here. Another thing we're going to do in closing is we are going to commission a new reserve study, because the existing reserve study, which we are inching up in funding. I think we're in the 50-some% range now, which is not great, but not so bad. We need to have a reserve study that is based on what we've been spending the repair money on. And currently, the reserve study doesn't have a whole lot in common with what's been broken. For example, there's nothing in there for plumbing to speak of, and that's kind of our major expense. Also, the pool, there's very little in there, and we need to spend money on the pool. So we're going to commission a new reserve study and then create a budget for 2026 based upon that. So we're a little delinquent on creating a 2026 budget, but that's going to happen. We are still working on trying to get the financial house in order, but quite frankly, what we were left with was, let's just say, administratively questionable. And as a result, it's taken a lot of engineering to kind of figure it out, but we are slowly making progress on that. At any rate, I wish I could give you more positives, but we are working on it, and I don't want to oversell or overpromise. As mentioned when we first took over in January, it's going to be a process. It's going to take a couple of years probably to right the ship and make it the great community that it can and should be. At any rate, in closing, one last thing. Remember, we have Neff from Las Vegas Community Management Group on duty on the second floor lobby of Building 20 every weekday from 1 to 5 to deal with your problems, to have a person there you can talk to, not just start making phone calls and listen to recordings. But nobody's really using it too much. Now, I'd like to think, oh, everybody's so happy that they don't need it. But again, he's there. He's there to help you. So please, if you need help, go up and see Neff. And even if it's not something that he can specifically help you with, he can probably point you in the right direction. With that, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your support. We will keep you apprised, and there is a board meeting in November. Hope to see you all there. Thank you.